live. Yo, so what is going on? Feel like I haven't really done anything like this in a while, but I'm just going for it, trying to stay on top of the game. So lately I have been playing a lot with just sports motion graphics, especially as obviously being a huge NBA basketball fan. Grew up just watching all of their broadcasts for Celtics and just a bunch of NBA teams. And one thing that always caught my eye, and it wasn't really probably till like NBA 2K where I really started noticing it, because you start focusing in on this is a game, so someone had to design the 3D graphics. But when you watch TV, it is loaded with just After Effects, motion graphics, Nuke, 3D, all different types of programs. So I am just like kind of on that stage of like, let me go and create some of this stuff, and because you never know where you'll end up working or who you'll be working for. So today I'm just basically trying to show how I created this NBA logo in 3D and textured it and whatnot, and you can do the same using vectors. Yes. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna exit out and open up a new blend file. Yours may not look like this. That's okay. It's pretty easy to kind of get this set up, but most importantly, for this to work, you have to make sure that the add-on import SVGs is activated, because it is not activated by default. So go up into the top left of your window, open up preferences, in pretty easily, I believe it's like, just type in SVG, and then I believe it should be import export scalable vectors, scalable vector graphics. So you can just check that, and where you will find this is when you click in the top left window of file, import, you're going to go over to, where is it? Bottom right here, scalable vector graphics. This is something I think I did a live stream on this back on YouTube maybe like a year ago, and I was doing it all manually, and this is, you can still do it, but I imported basically an image as plain of a PNG, and then I would tab into edit mode and use the knife tool to cut it out manually. But it's so much easier working with SVG files, because everything gets converted into a curve, and then you are able to then just go and modify those. So let's just get right into it. I highly recommend at this point pausing the video and just getting a bunch of SVGs if you don't have any ready. I kind of did that already with just doing some work recently and just trying to play around with some NBA stuff. So we'll start with the NBA logo, because it's pretty easy. So I just imported it. You probably can't see it because the size of it is super tiny. So I'm just gonna scale this up while selected on all of them, and boom, we'll bring it into our scene. Probably would be best is to bring in an HDRI. So just hopping into the shader tab and clicking on the top from object to world. Pretty easy to get an HDRI ready. Shift A, environment texture is what we're bringing in. Gonna open up, I have mine all saved in an assets folder, and I just am looking for like a studio setting. Polyhaven.com has a bunch of free ones. They even have, I believe, like an add-on that you can just buy, and it has everything in like the highest resolution. I have 4K ones, but they do have like 8K and 16K. Not that you really needed it, but you know, whatever makes life easier. So if I'm still not used to working in 1920 by 1080 resolution. The 2560 to 1080, you just have so much more real estate to work on. So now, as you can see, now that I have my HDRI in, I will go and hide it. I just don't like working primarily with HDRIs. I just like the lighting as like the base. So back into solid mode, if I was to start hiding some of these curves, then it starts revealing kind of, we'll just go to material preview. Then it starts kind of showing how everything is broken up into different parts. So most importantly, so you can modify any one of these curves. So if you wanted to go into edit mode while they're still curve curves rather than meshes. You can do modifications and stuff. You can add more geometry. You can clean up the geometry, but we want to just get right into the nitty gritty. So make sure that all of the curves are highlighted, and then just right click and go from convert to, and we're going to take it from a curve to a mesh. Yeah, so curves, you can't really add more like depth and really do much in edit mode, but adjust the curve. But with a mesh, you can actually extrude out the geometry because it is defined as like an actual object rather than like a curve, which is a path. So I think probably the best thing to do would be to name all of these files or these meshes, just because it gets so hard to kind of keep track of everything. So I'm just going to call this side red 1, maybe turn that actually to a 1, side red 2. The other side of the logo is usually blue. So this is A, and this is A2, but basically inner A. This is B right here. Let me get out of shading mode. And then this is like inner B, so I'll just name it B2 and B3. And this is obviously N. And last but not least, we have base. Base! Saving this would be a good idea. Patreon NBA tutorial. Cool. Alright, so now that all of these are separated, I think probably always the easiest place to start is the base layer. So just in material preview, just so I have like 2 different views going on here. So just selected on this base. First thing we're going to do is just tab into edit mode. There is a way to clean this geometry up. Maybe, nope, that ain't it. Dissolve vertices, nope, that ain't it. That doesn't matter for now. We can still work with this. It's just kind of weird with all these like crazy n-gons going on. So to add some geometry, you got to make sure that everything's selected. Easy ways to do that is A or highlight. I usually just hit A because just like I highlighted, I missed a bunch on this corner. We're going to add some depth to it. So basically to extrude anything, you just hit E. And then I usually just make sure that the axis I want to go, the direction I want to go is locked. So as you can see by the blue line, the Z axis is locked. So we'll just bring it out to like phone depth. So that's kind of our base, and now everything else we can work on from there. So probably the best thing to do now is to extrude out the sides. So I will just select all of them at the same time just so that there's no mistakes. Control A, sorry, not Control A, just A. We're going to extrude also on the Z axis, and we're just going to extrude it up. That's good. And then the last thing we need to do is we need to bring the NBA all out. So let's just get all those highlighted. Go into edit mode, tab. You can't see it right now, so what I will do is I'll hide the blue, which was basically covering it, and then E. And I don't want to make this super big just because it's going to be on the outside. So that's a good amount. We'll just stop it there. And then I will bring back the blue side, and we'll just tab out of edit mode, go back into object mode, and then at that point I will just bring it up into direction. So I think I should just hide. Maybe this is where shader mode might help. Probably be good to assign like a texture to all of this, but you know, yeah, that's a whole lot better. I just want to make sure that, you know, you can see everything well. And that was like pretty simple. You know, there's a lot of things that you can do to just spice this up. For example, let's go to our base layer, go back into solid mode just so I can see let's see. So back into edit mode, I would love to bevel the edges on the outside. So basically going to edge select, which you can do simply by 1, 2, or 3. So 1 is going to be like switching over to vertex select. 2 on the number pad is going to be edge select. And 3, which I generally do a lot of editing in, is face select. And what's cool about doing this is you can select individual faces and then add all different types of geometry. And there's a lot of things that you can do in edit mode. But we just want edge select. So number 2, click on any edge, and then we just want to highlight all the ones around. So hopefully this will work. Sometimes with weird geometry it doesn't. Holding Shift and Alt, we're gonna, oh yeah, it won't, definitely won't let me do it. So I'm just gonna have to go through manually and do this, which might suck, but that's just the way it is sometimes. Yeah, it's not letting me, that's a bummer. That's what happens when your geometry is just all messed up. It's all jacked up. So just bear with me for 1 second while I do this. It's the little tiny areas that kind of suck. I gotta figure out how. There's a way to clean up, like basically like re-topologize like all of this nonsense going on here, but that's another day. Let's just see if I can get through this real fast. Yeah, we probably won't do this for the final, but you know, this is what we're gonna do. Oh no. Alright, good enough for now. Honestly, that one little edge, I don't care about. But you can bevel the edges, Control B, and then just using the mouse wheel, you can scroll up, and basically, if you look at it, you know, rather than having like a sharp edge, you can get like a beveled edge, and with better materials, that'll definitely show out a little bit better. You could also go into the modifiers tab, hit bevel, and that might just be a whole lot easier. Let's see. It's not doing anything that I want it to, but you know the drill. Play around, have fun. So now just texturing it, going through each one. Let's see, making sure that each time you do it, you're on a single material, because you might have a bunch of users, so basically one material that a bunch of items are using. So just click that badge and it makes it its own material. So this is red, and I'm just eyeballing this. You could easily just go to just there, you know, I could go get the hex codes if I really wanted to, but see, that's what I mean by the you got to make a single user. Blue, B3. What's nice is once you've made the material and you're just gonna reuse it, like you just go through and you can edit them. Something is not working. Oh, see, I can't delete them. What's going on here? Ah. It was getting buried. Alright, so we're gonna bring these up. Cool. Nice. And alright. So yeah, that's like pretty like bare minimum for how to just get a decent looking logo off the jump. Next thing I kind of want to show you is if you were to want to animate it. I'll just show you kind of like my process for how I look at and how I want to animate things. So the thing I want to make sure that this item has is I want to make sure that they're all individual layers and I'm able to go through and separate them. So most importantly, the thing I would do is look at the center of the origin. So I just want to set the origin to basically the geometry. The next thing I want to do is I want to bring in an empty object, which if you've worked in After Effects, it's your null object. And what's cool about empties is you can make them all different types of shapes and circles. So, I like using the kind of like the point, the vertex, but you use whatever you feel. So I'm just going to call this my controller just to keep track of everything. Now, this is like another thing that's really cool is that you can parent things to both like a master controller and then their own individual controllers, which is a lot easier than keyframing out like each letter and trying to make sure that they're all, where they're supposed to be. By keeping everything to a controller or like an empty object, it makes things a heck of a lot cleaner. So let's just make controllers for like everything. The easiest way to kind of make sure that you're getting to the center of the object, click any item, hit Shift S, and then cursor to selected. It should bring the world cursor right to the object you chose. So now if I was to go and double check my empty object, just making sure that it's centered with the object, and I'll just call this N, and now I can select the letter N and then go to my empty N, click on it, Control P, object, boom. Then let's go to A, Shift, Shift S, cursor to selected. This one's definitely going to need some adjustment because the origin is all messed up, but not to fear. Quick and easy to do that. Just double checking, make sure it's good. We'll name this A, and then I want to select both of the A's. Click on the empty A, and then Control P, object. So now, like I said, if you go to move the empty, it takes the A with you. And, this empty is a little off, so it's not the end of the world. But, try to get as close as possible. Wait, did I not? Oh, okay, yeah. No, I'm good. Base, I guess, yeah, we'll just do one for each. You don't have to, unless if you're not going to do a ton of animating to like the base or something like that. It is a more simple object, but it's just, for easy's sake, it's just good to make sure that you're all on the same page. So base, process is kind of self-explanatory. Control P, parent. We're going to do the B, Shift A. I'm going to try and get this one a little bit more centered. Name it B. And then I think the only thing we have left is side red and cool. Just going to try and line it up somewhere in the center. It'd be probably better to break up the different sides into different pieces, but we're not going to do like an animating tutorial on this. Did I just... Yeah, I just totally did it to the wrong one. And then the last one, we need a blue. And boom. Cool. So now I would take all of the empties with attached objects. Oh, did I not? Yeah, I messed up somewhere, but it's fine. All of the personal empties, and now I'll attach them to our controller. So now if I move the controller, everything moves with it. But if I wanted to move the individual object, I can, and it's still attached to the controller. So like, say we take, come back, just take each one. Oh yeah, I didn't parent the freaking, it's fine. But now if I wanted to take, this and rotate it, the A stays attached. So I could just have like these like rotating on their own axes. So let's just do, is it the Y axis? Yeah. Let's just do like 360, and then I don't know, we'll just do that, and boom. Just like a quick animation. Now, like I said, the controller is a lot easier to animate, and you know, it's cool. And you know, you can go and add more materials. Like I always love making this like some type of gold. I don't know how well I'm gonna be able to get it done right now, but yeah, just all different options. You could turn this into like emission shaders and get some cool results from there. So that's one. We're just going to pop open another one real fast, and I'll just try to quickly talk through and just show you it again. So, you know, bring in a scalable vector. I already got a bunch. I'm going to take the Celtics logo, assuming it's not too difficult. Next thing you know, you're going to scale it up. It's going to be 25 just so I can see. Oh yeah, this is going to be tough. But this is what I should have done on that other Celtics animation that I had been working on. I just didn't know I could. So we're going to convert it all to a mesh. I'm going to quickly try to find the right geometry. Yeah, it looks like the base. Where is that? Oh my god. Yeah, so every vector could be different. Just keep in mind. So let's just give the base some geometry. And then I'm going to scale it out, because let's be fun with it. Alright, the next toughest thing is going to be finding Lucky. Let's see. Alright, I definitely want to scale these down. Yeah, it would probably be better to work with some type of actual material. Give me light. So this one, we'll call this chunk 1. All right, maybe if we hide the base. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Which one are you? Chunk 2. What is this? Which layer are you? Ooh, yeah, we gotta hide that. We'll call the chunk 3, chunk 4. Not the greatest names, but whatever. Chunk 5 and chunk 6. Quickly save, Celtics logo, start. I probably won't finish this on this video, but you know, I personally kind of want to get through as much as I can. Chunk 7 and chunk 8. All right, let's bring back that hidden layer. See, like, this is the fun part about like doing this, is like you can start extruding geometry in all different directions. The best thing to do though is to label anything you can, like labeling is actually the key to 3D, because there's nothing worse than like everything just being labeled the wrong thing. T. Come on. I hate how these curves are just so improperly labeled. And 240. basketball 1. Now, the smart me says start combining a bunch of these meshes and then, you know, make life easier, but part of me doesn't want to jump the gun and then get myself into a hole and be like, shoot, I should have kept them all separate. Yeah, well, you kind of get the gist. I hope this was super helpful. I don't want to. I know this project would be fun to watch. Maybe I'll just do kind of like a time lapse thing. But just looking from the amount of curve numbers, it's gonna seem like a lot. But that's kind of how to get going. I'm hoping to do a couple more kind of like intro sports graphics stuff. But I think that was a pretty solid one. And how much time is that? I think it's a digestible time because I could easily take this on for like another hour of you watching me kind of extrude and stuff and try to make this awesome and cool. And I'd plan to do that, but maybe on a time lapse. I gotta work on some other stuff too. Anyways, hope you enjoy. Stay tuned for some more kind of logo stuff. I think the next video is literally going to be how to take a PNG and turn it into an SVG in Adobe Illustrator. Who knows? Maybe I'll film it right after this. Anyways, thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Peace.